Maha-Bharata, Part 1, Chapter 26. On to Badarika Ashram continued. Meanwhile, in Hastinapur, Dhritarashtra sat in his chamber, his head in his hands. As time passed, he was becoming increasingly anxious. What would happen at the end of the Pandavas' exile? Would they not return with their blazing weapons to seek vengeance? How would any of the Kauravas survive? If only Duryodhana would give up his envy. Certainly Yudhishthir would live peacefully with his cousins if they were willing to share the kingdom. But that seemed quite highly unlikely. And so it appeared nothing could change Duryodhana's attitude. Why, even he himself could not sway his son. And Dhritarashtra's anxiety doubled when he heard from his father, Vyas, that Arjuna had gone to heaven to obtain weapons. Seeking comfort, Dhritarashtra called for Sanjaya. And when he was seated before him, Dhritarashtra said, "O Sutta, have you heard anything more about Arjuna's activities? Why, that powerful hero has ascended to heaven in his self-same body. And my son Duryodhana is Arjuna's sworn enemy. Surely their enmity can destroy the entire world. Aided by Arjuna, Yudhishthir is able to conquer the three worlds. Who among us mortals can stand before Arjuna as he rains down virulent arrows?" Hot tears flowed from Dhritarashtra's blind eyes as he continued. "I do not see my son becoming successful, even though Bhishma, Drona, and Karna support Duryodhana. None of these warriors can equal Arjuna, who is the friend of the infallible Krishna. The man who can slay Arjuna simply does not exist, nor can anyone live long after coming within the range of his arrows. It seems to me that our armies have already fled in all directions upon hearing the fearful rumble of Arjuna's chariot wheels. Surely Lord Brahma has created that hero just to become the destruction of our race." Sanjaya said nothing, for he had heard the king make similar statements on many occasions. But still, Dhritarashtra did nothing to control his sons. It was as if he was hoping that Duryodhana and his followers could defy the inevitable outcome of their sinful activities. The old king was no fool, but he was so much attached to Duryodhana that he allowed this attachment to overpower his good reasoning. After some time, Sanjaya spoke. "O king, your words are all true. Nothing you have said is incorrect. But when they saw their wife insulted in the Asatsabha, the Pandavas became consumed by wrath. And I do not see how they will ever forgive your sons. I have heard from Vyasadeva that Arjuna has satisfied the immortal Shiva and received from him his special weapon. Your race now faces total disaster." Dhritarashtra continued to lament. "O Sanjaya, the annihilation of the Kauravas is certain. Allied with Krishna, the Pandavas are invincible. And Duryodhana and Karna are the very causes of the calamity we now face. Tell me, when shall I hear that my armies have been crushed by Arjuna and Bhima? I, forever obedient to my son's desires, shall then recall all the good advice my well-wishers have given me, which I should have heeded." With a wry, ironic smile, Sanjaya replied to his master, "O king, once again you have spoken the truth. You do not care for good advice. Therefore, actually, it is only by your own fault that you now lament. You could have stopped Duryodhana, but you chose not to do so. Now we shall all suffer the reaction." Dhritarashtra fell silent. Now he felt that the events were beyond his control. It was true, he was too attached to Duryodhana. He could not refuse his son anything. His half-hearted attempts to check Duryodhana were simply a waste of time. Why, his sons laughed at his weakness. They knew they could sway him in the end. The blind king held his forehead and sighed. Would he ever see his son seated on the emperor's throne? That right had become his only due to Pandu's retirement. If only Duryodhana could win that right for himself. But how? Destiny seemed all-powerful. Feeling helpless, Dhritarashtra remained awake throughout the whole night, as he had done on so many other occasions.